just look out at the ceiling. How
I can't go back.
it starts to hurt right about there?
It's tight. It kind of hurts right there.
I'm going to compare that to the end. We're going to have you do it again. I want you to compare what it feels like right now to the end when we check you out, okay? Oh, easy. I got you. Okay, yeah, okay, I got you. Wow, nothing over there. Okay, all right, we'll get it. But this is your problem. This being locked up here is why when you bring your head up, you're pinching your lower neck. There's definitely some more mobility up here. There you go. Yeah, you've been hiding that from me. That didn't even move earlier.
I didn't think you were gonna get it.
I know. No confidence in the chiropractor.
No confidence in my neck.
I didn't think you were gonna get it. I'm gonna show you. A challenge. All right. I got you. Okay. There you go. There we go. Now let's compare it again. So you come on for me when you're ready. Yeah. Now retain it. Now you take that Denerol and you keep it. That makes it so it doesn't just go, and it felt great for a couple days and then it's back again, right? You understand? That's
what I was gonna say. Like, in a couple days, this is gonna last me 2 hours, and then I'm gonna be like,
Well,
back to the same.
That's what the answer is. You're absolutely correct. If we don't stretch, the answer is correct. You are correct.
So stretching is my main thing that I can do too.
If we don't stretch, you're right. The alignment will go right back out, and we live this depressing relationship with your chiropractors, where I'm just a bottle of Advil. That is absolutely true. The problem is you have no curve in your neck, and I can't adjust the curve into your neck. It's not possible. If chiropractors are saying that to you, it's not true. It has to be stretched. It was stretching that made you lose it. It's stretching that restores it. See, the restoration of that is vital. The only way for you to feel permanently better is for that arch to be there.
Just fell back and landed on my upper back mid here, and maybe whiplashed it. I don't know.
What age were you?
30 something.
Okay, so not too long ago.
No.
Okay,
not
and
too-
did you remember having difficulty turning your neck afterwards? Was a lot of pain, or just?
No, there actually wasn't that much pain. I mean, discomfort. The pain might be more related to the whole chef thing.
Okay.
To be honest with you.
So 15 years, been working as a chef, a lot of looking down, long shifts.
Long shifts.
Okay. And what do you feel in terms of is it pain down the arms, just pain in the neck?
No, it's just pain in the neck, and like if I do this, it hurts right across here.
So the local pain in the spine is the joint. The joint looks like a handshake. These surfaces glide over each other, and when you bend forward, they swell. So I'm going to use this guy. It's just a little bigger and easier to see. When you bend forward, they open up and they swell up with fluid. And then when you go to bring your head back, it compresses the joint. And those joints are loaded with pain fibers. So the alignment the neck should be in is one where there's a curve in our neck. This is called the lordosis, and we lose that natural alignment because of the prevalence of, like what you're saying, Ed, I spend a lot of time looking down. Ed, I had an injury where my head whipped back, the joints probably got injured, and then we healed away from them. You're young enough or early enough stage that, Ed, I just have the local pain in my spine, so that's a good sign in terms of it's easier to fix that than someone that's allowed it to progress to the point where not only is it neck pain, but also I'm getting nerve pain down my arms. We want to do two things. The neck is supposed to work from the top, so there's no disc at the top of the neck. Your skull sits on this round donut called the atlas that sits on a pin, and your neck is supposed to turn up here, and you're not supposed to use this very much, but when the curve in the neck goes straight, it unlocks the lower neck and makes the lower neck do an extra amount of work. And so the take home is going to be loosening up the areas around, and then we'll show you at the end of the visit some things you can do at home to work on at the end of the day, restoring that curve that your neck should have. The question shouldn't be, why do I have to do 20 minutes of stretching? The question should be, how can 20 minutes of stretching undo the 8 hours or 10 hours of looking down? Because this is essentially stretching forward. Right? You're taking the natural curve out of your spine by looking down all the time. And Ed, I have to, it's my work. I just don't spend that much time looking at the ceiling. I spend most of my time looking down. And there really isn't any health care in America for this problem. It's all just pain relievers, cortisone shots, things to cover up this problem, which allows the bones to grow and the disc to wear out. Anything else going on? How's your lower back doing? How's anything else?
Lower back, I think that's like a sleeping thing. Although I will say, while standing for long times, if I sit and then get back up,
Hurts to stand.
I'll get like a sharp, almost like debilitating pain. Like it doesn't always happen, but from time to time.
And that started perhaps how long ago? Guesstimate? A couple of years or decades?
Couple of years, maybe 10 years.
Okay. All right. Well, when we're dealing with, so the local again is the joint, and then when you get that kind of nervy radiating, we're involving some level of nerve roots. So the only way to really, diagnose that properly, I can suspect that there's nerve pressure, but to diagnose it, we have to do an MRI. Ideally seated. Laying down MRI is pretty silly because there's no weight on the spine.
Right.
We get a seated MRI look and we see how these pieces of cartilage are aging. So same kind of thing that happens in the neck happens in the lower back. This curve goes straight, and then the weight, like a ladder, ends up going to these last two guys that end up with 99% of surgery. So when you go to stand up, so let me show you this principle. When you bend forward, watch the size of that foramen. Right, it gets bigger. And that's what you're saying, Ed, it's okay when I'm sitting, but I go to stand up. When you stand up, the hole gets smaller. And that's why people get stuck forward, or why elderly people are all hunched forward and they stay forward, because it's an avoidance. This has no feeling, the joint has a lot of feeling, and that nerve has a lot of feeling. So there's a lot of doctors that will aim you into just what I call therapy, avoiding these two structures and putting the weight on the non-sensitive structure, and they can label that as like a good treatment, which I see as a dead-end road. Eventually you're going to wear out the disc. So I want to check your middle back. This area typically never has surgery. This has all the surgery, so we're going to loosen up the areas around, and then same kind of thing. They make a piece of foam that looks like my elbow or my thumb, and we use that to mold. Does that make sense?
Right.
To curve back to your spine. All right. Wow. All right. Yeah, you're tilting to your right side. Your head's your arm, that left arm even hangs closer to your body. I'm exaggerating, but the way you're standing is you're tilting the head. The left shoulder's high. Check forward. Our alignment is like a tire or like our teeth. How the alignment is determines how the spine wears out. So we have an injury potentially on the right side of your neck. What'll happen is, if I injure the right side of my neck, my body's first response is to tilt away from it. And then if I walk around with my eyes tilted, it makes me dizzy. So I do this. We call it a righting reflex. Your eyes will always seek the horizon. So it's like, my head's not tilted. Well, people see the shoulder tilt, but it's really a head tilt. It's a head tilt that creates a shoulder tilt. And then the hips will become unlevel. And this gets really silly really quick, because somebody will say, your hips are unlevel. Well, yeah, because his head's tilted.
Right.
And it all goes back to the work that you're doing, and then potentially the injury. You get whiplash, and then your head goes, okay, I'll just stay here from now on because something got injured over here. And then we have what we call compensatory injuries, things that happen as a result.
So I tore the right ACL too, so I probably was standing more on the left also, which would make me tilt more too.
Yeah.
So
okay.
that could be.
Or just look out at the ceiling. How?
I can go back. Right.
It starts to hurt right about there?
It's tight. It kind of hurts right there.
I'm going to compare that to, at the end, we're going to have you do it again. I want you to compare what it feels like right now to the end when we check you out, okay? Your neck bends too much down here. So we call that a hypermobility. Your neck the lower neck joints are moving more than they're supposed to be, and that's why they're inflamed, and that's why they hurt. And my goal is to do a couple things. One, if we can loosen up the upper neck, when you bring your head back, the neck will be more evenly bending. Does that make sense? You won't have all the folding happening in one spot. It'll fold throughout the neck, and then we'll show you how to retain that and maintain that with the stretching. Take a deep breath in for me. Have your head back for me. Exhale for me. Here we go, pretty easy. Here we go. Exhale, exhale. Beautiful. Take a deep breath in. Then I'll go. Exhale. Here we go. Deep breath in. One more. Head back for me. Exhale. Nice. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. I got you. You're okay. There we go. There we go. Good. There we go. I got you. Exhale. Other side for me. Beautiful. Other side. Exhale. I got you. There you go. There we go. Exhale. Okay. All right. Face up for me. We'll tie my left hip. Face up.
10 minutes, I can literally do this and it'll crack.
That's part of why your lower neck is inflamed. It's so mobile, but it's only so mobile heavily in one area, right? It has to be. You can't be hypermobile everywhere. There has to be one area that's doing less to account for another area doing extra. Right. And that's the whole idea of balancing and chiropractic, is to have the whole team working together. Yeah, I mean, you're real tight up here. Feel me? Whoa. Feel this big bump right here? I mean, these are not supposed to be, especially on this left side. This left side right there. Wow. Have you ever noticed this thing? Nobody's ever?
Yeah, I mean,
a little bit?
I haven't noticed it. I don't know if it's normal or not. So.
This is more normal over here. And then this is that head tilt that I was talking about. All right, I got you. I'm gonna go pretty gentle. We're just gonna loosen this up a little bit. I know it's first time being adjusted. Pretty easy here. I got you. All right. You okay?
Good.
I'm gonna go deeper in a second. I'm just gonna, that bone, I know your neck is, you've said, is really loose, but I don't think that guy's that loose. Oh, easy, I got you. Okay, yeah, okay, I got you. Wow, nothing over there, okay. All right, we'll get it right there, though. You probably haven't had much conversation with this guy.
No.
I don't know if you felt right here. When you take something that was frozen and get it moving, the frozen area is not going to embrace me with open arms and go, oh, that felt wonderful. It's going to be a little sore when you restore mobility to something that's been tight. And the older the injury, the more the tightness that can build up. So that's why I was asking you how long ago you thought it was, and that gives me an idea of how long it takes to restore it. How old the stain is, right, tells you how much scrubbing is going to be required.
Right.
To get it out. Yeah, just this is your cause. And it's kind of boring. It's just you're up here loosening all of this.
That's fine. Go to town.
Okay, all right, we'll get it. I'm just saying it's just time. You can't have any. I got a pretty strong thumb, and that's pretty stiff.
Oh, my neck is my biggest issue.
Yeah, it just takes to move. We'll fix it. And then,
I can't sit on the couch comfortably without
that's not good.
always stretching my neck.
All right, well, I'll show you some things, and we're gonna get you fixed up here. We got to get the upper neck, which is supposed to do about 60% of the work, restored. So you got your main engine offline, and so you're using your backup secondary engine to try to do everything, and then rightfully so, that backup engine's not happy that it's been overtaxed. And so just getting this upper neck working.
Yeah, it's to the point where I bought one of those little chin holder upper thingies, so I sit on the couch if I'm playing PlayStation or something. I'll just
to remind
jack up my neck.
Right.
I can't look down at all.
Yeah. Yeah, it prevents it from getting worse, but it doesn't, we got to actually pour into the spine to get it to a better place. And then the end effect is actually going to be way back here. We got to hold your neck. I'll try to show you. There. We have to then, at the end of the day, start molding this arch back in your spine to, it's like eating food all day but then forgetting to brush your teeth at the end of the day.
Right.
It's not the eating the food that was the problem, it was the forgetting to brush that was the problem. We haven't been taught how to clean our spine and how to, it's like you working in your kitchen all day but then leaving the kitchen filthy when you left.
Right.
It's like that, the problem wasn't the cooking, it was you need, at the end of your day, you have to clean up, otherwise you have bugs or whatever, you have to tidy up at the end of the day. And so we've been left to just wing it in America, okay, just good luck. So this is the gouache shot, just a little smooth, a comb with a smooth edge, just a way to bring blood into the area. And really quick, wow. That was, 5 swipes? There's already a mark on your neck just from that, right here. and you might even feel it internally, is like it feels like a bruise or a soreness right there.
Yeah.
There's
Like a bruise.
there's an internal injury. How much bruise comes out and how quickly it comes out tells me how much is in there. You know, sometimes if you have to, as a care progresses and as a patient gets better at this, I can barely make a mark on them, or only a very small mark will come out after a long period of treatment. This is a buildup. Ultimately, what this does is it tells me that it's locked, that this area is frozen. If it was moving properly, it would self-clean. We call that imbibition. The tissue washes itself through mobility. So when you have an injury, the area locks, that traps acidity in the area, and then another area has to compensate. But this is your problem. This being locked up here is why when you bring your head up, you're pinching your lower neck. Happens all the time too. Bellies. I'm actually when you rub the upper neck, I can't tell you how many times people their stomachs will start gurgling. You're actually stimulating digestion. But
Really?
it happens all the time. Can't tell you. I mean, it's a nervous system. As I'm relieving stress off the sympathetic, your parasympathetic now can start operating properly. So the nerves essentially that shut down your stomach, the sympathetic system, your fight or flight system, are irritated by inflammation along your spinal column. And so as we, relieve some of that irritation, inflammation here, the parasympathetic, your wine and dine system will start to, okay, it's time to, it's like the thing that was holding that system back has now been released.
But it's specifically in the neck, or
The whole spine, but I'll notice it the most when you're face up, so I'll hear it all the time. I'd say at least maybe half my patients, a third of my patients, as I'm doing this, their stomach will start gurgling and digesting.
Well, if you successfully loosen this up, then
That's all I do. I wake up in the morning, just like how you cook. You wake up in the morning and cook. I wake up in the morning and I fix necks. That's all I do. There we go. See, it's getting softer. It's not. My thumb's not hurting so much. When I did this 5 minutes ago, it felt more like I was pushing my thumb into some concrete. It was like the neck wasn't complying. There you go. This is home. Your neck belongs arched. It's not, and it's where your neck used to be when you were a year old. It's not like it's a new position. It's a position your neck used to have that you've lost that we're trying to aim you back to. We're trying to make your spine remember where it was. And the alignment where it's curved allows the spine to last as long as possible and the weight be evenly distributed and no one segment takes extra stress. And that's what we're trying to do. Just I can't stop aging, but we can do is we can have our spine age evenly. And that's the gist of my office. Is how do we do that? How do we not have certain areas age too quickly? Because you feel as old as the average parts of your back that move. If you only have the old parts working, you feel old. If you have the young parts working, you feel young. And that's what I do. I loosen up the young parts, and that brings the average down. And so, hey, Ed, my neck doesn't hurt when I look up anymore. Because now the younger parts that aren't injured are participating. But it's not a conscious choice. It's not like I can teach you, stop bending with your lower neck so much and start bending more with your upper neck. It's not how it works.
all right.
The segment either bends for you or it doesn't show up. It's a volunteer structure. So it's above and below also. So this right here, all these ribs have got to go down. This channel's starting to get like that. That rib is right there.
You'll find it when
that's a
I have like two permanent ones.
Yeah, it's not to be permanent. It's become permanent because of life and your work and injuries. But it's like orthodontistry. The teeth don't have to be crooked. They will stay crooked if we don't do anything, but we can do things to prevent them from getting more crooked or correcting it. Gotcha. Let me have this side. There we go. I'm waiting. Let me see. Right here. There we go. A little piece. There we go. Good. That's where it needs it.
Like that hump bump is not supposed to be there?
Correct.
Oh, yeah. That's been there all my life. Let's see.
Yeah, it's a dent. It's a ding. It's like that dent's not supposed to be in the door panel. Correct. Somebody collided with it. Somebody kicked it.
It's pre-owned.
The car didn't come right. The car didn't come from the factory with this. Life did this to you. And it's been there long enough that you don't even remember when it wasn't there, so.
Well, I've had masseuses to give up on that, so.
Well, because you can't get rid of it just by massaging it. Everything I do right now is to make the spine limber and less inflamed so we can correct it through stretching. You can't just throw people on stretches because they'll just bend where they're bending too much already, right? And then they end up getting hurt. And they go, oh, I tried doing that stretch, or I tried yoga and I got hurt. And so you can't just do the correction work without being prepped. So that's why everybody just gives up. Because you don't have the means to do it. So you have to go through the process of getting loosened up first, being adjusted. It's like how to polish a car paint, right? You can't just polish a dirty car.
Right.
You have to wash it first and then clay bar it and then you polish. This will eventually be rotator cuff. Part of it's that your shoulders
I
are
do have
rotated.
a rotator cuff issue.
Yeah, I'm just saying this, if it's not already here, I'm just saying because of the shoulders being forward, it's going to be, the rotator cuff's going to be under a lot of stress. Sort of like a cable, the more the shoulder goes forward, it holds the cable tight. We want to work on getting your shoulders back as best we can. We'll do that. I'll show you some stretching at the end. 2 birds, 1 stone. We're going to get this in, get the head back, and also bring the shoulder back to where it belongs. Yeah, real quick. Right there is probably some soreness. That's all got to be worked out of here.
How often do people get adjusted?
The goal is to get through what I call boot camp, and then eventually you get maybe like 8-10 visits to get what I call through boot camp, and then you get to a point where you can, I call it the chiro number, the number of days you can go between visits where you're stretching keeps you clean. That's my ultimate. It's like giving a toothbrush and floss and saying you clean your own teeth now.
Right.
How long do I need it? How often do I need to get clean? Well, it depends on how much dirt was there to begin with, a level of misalignment. It's not a one-size-fit-all t-shirt.
I used to swim.
Were you on a team or just recreational?
No, back in like prep school, high school.
Okay. I was on a team for years. 5-6 years. I was swimming 4 hours a day. That's what chiro kids do. My sister was on the team with me. We both swam. And somehow Max got out of it. Yeah, just quite a bit of acidity in here. I'm not surprised your rotator cuffs are taking a beating. That's the first rib. That's a rib head. It's not supposed to be so raised. I mean, real quick, babe. Real quick that came out.
I have to explain this to somebody.
Yes.
Probably.
You're gonna
Oh,
look
what are
like
you
you
doing?
got beat up.
Said you went to the chiropractic. Oh yeah. I attacked by something.
It's a lot of acidity. It's a lot. And so the more I can get from your upper back also, the more I can get this area loose, it's going to divert some stress off the lower neck. And then also to what you mentioned with your lower back going from seated to standing, that's coming from right here. Same kind of story happens. This middle back becomes locked. Diaphragm, quadratus lumborum, traps, lats, they all attach right in here. And so this area becomes tight. The ribs also, encourage stiffness of the chest relative to the looseness of the lumbar. And so we end up overstressing our lower back. So if I teach a conversation, you have to, converse with this area and not just ignore it. Keep this area mobile, and then your lower back's not going to be left doing everything. But yeah, right here. I mean, that's the, hello. I didn't know that was there, Ed. That is, that dent right here is not supposed to be here. Right there. There we go. Just too, like all of this is, it's been normalized to you. Maybe you don't even notice this area, but it's not supposed to feel that stiff in here. It's all, you've, like the anchors of your arms, right? I can tell you use your arms a lot for working, so you have to move your arms in a, we'll say, specific way. You have to lock your chest, right? So this area has been encouraged to be stiff so you can, be a good chef. And so just for longevity, we can't let this stay as tight as it is. I thought the left was bad until I came over here. Hello. Look how big that one is. Gee. Right there. That's... Doing okay? You okay?
I'm good.
All right, we'll keep going deeper. Here we go. That.
So if it's being tight, would it affect digestion?
So the nerves that essentially shut down your stomach come out from T6 through T8. So right in here are the nerves that are the sympathetic, so your fight or flight nerves. So gastric paresis, I can't tell you how many patients I've treated that have been diagnosed with that, and as we clean and alleviate nerve pressure in here, the stomach starts to work better. So indigestion goes away. The lymphatics don't have a heartbeat, they're pumped by mobility, and so when an area gets stiff, it doesn't flow. There's no heart that, like our circulatory system gets pumped by our heart. Our sewer pipes are pumped by mobility. Right, this doesn't exist on the left. You noticing that?
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't. That's what I'm trying to show you. This side's tighter. Yeah, there's a lot of buildup. You were due. Wow. I'll take a picture of your back in a minute, and I think you might. Okie dokie. I didn't realize it was that built up back there. Like I'm going super gentle. Just a lot of. You can't make a mark in tissue that's already clean. Once it's there's no lactic acid, which is cellular exhaust. Once all that lactic acid's been removed, the marks won't happen. It's because of stiffness and injuries and things that haven't been swept up, kind of idea, that allows us to build up to this level. And I'm not surprised 1 minute that things are hurting. Gee whiz. All of the areas around what's been injured aren't working. This is just evidence of the stiffness. Yeah, right there. Wow. Yeah, that's what I was noticing when I was going behind his shoulder blade, right? It's just blood flow. They just stimulate the skin with a comb. It washes blood up to the top and then rinses back down through the layers. And then with it, you take all this acidity and soreness.
Oof.
I would say you're doing pretty good. If you made it this far without this kind of care in life, I think you're pretty lucky. That's all we got is some local neck pain and some rotator cuff sore.
Yeah, I've been having really sore shoulder issue on this side.
Right. No, I'm not surprised. It's really bad right here, man.
Hurts to where my arm was weak at points. Like, it's so bad.
Yes, yes. Oh, there's a lot right there. That would be ground zero. This is again, Dr. Ed's opinion. Dr. Ed's guess. This is an injury. You've had an injury here, and then it's now, stress and life has now, made it more apparent. But at some point in life, this was, partially injured, torn, and then it healed with with a different type of material than was originally there, and that makes subsequent injuries easier because it's not as untangled, or it's not as free moving as it used to be. Every time you tear something and it heals like more knotted up.
Well, let's see. I used to play tennis.
Yeah.
I used to aggressive rollerblade. Basketball.
Yeah. This is. I'll show you the other side, but yeah, compare that to. It's a little tiny one right here.
Yeah, I feel that
it's
too.
way tinier, but.
I mean, it hurts. That hurts.
Objectively, from my, it's about half or a third the size. That right side is just. It's a little. It's not nearly as knotted. Closer to what it should have felt like, what it originally felt like. It's like a keloid or a scab, or a callus. It's like a callus on your skin. The skin's been torn, and then it heals thicker, and then it gets torn again, and it heals thicker. I used to ride jet skis, and the throttle's your index and middle finger, and you're holding on for dear life with your pinky and ring. I'd tear up the skin on the bottom of my. Probably should have wore gloves, but I didn't. And those calluses were there for like a decade. Because my body was like, any moment he's gonna get back on the jet ski.
So funny enough, this is what getting a tattoo shaded feels like.
Okay.
Like this, like if you're constantly rubbing in the same spot. Almost like a burning sensation.
Yeah. This one's a little more reluctant right here.
It's pretty painful.
Well, it functions how it's supposed to function. It doesn't hurt. There's a resistance or argument between it moving and it not wanting to move, me asking it to move. Yeah, right there. There it is. Hello. Not sure if you remember. It was pretty obvious when I rotated you on one side, the hips were moving pretty easily. This left side was, okay, maybe.
That is extremely painful.
Yeah, to me, you actually wear out the right one. The one that's going to get worn out is the right lower back. This is the cause. Just long. This is going to be the side that hurts. Does that make sense? The left is actually the original cause. The tightness here is going to offload the work to the right hip, right lower back. But the root cause is right there. Build up. This is all inflammation. It's just, like I said, been trapped in here, and even the rotator cuff, the whole shoulder's all covered. A lot of water today. Yeah. We gotta once that all rinses out of there, a couple days you're gonna feel great. A couple days of soreness, probably a tattoo, you're sore after the tattoo, and then it goes away. Same kind of thing. All this has been. There shouldn't be any soreness. There shouldn't be any stiffness. Your middle back should be soft. Get the idea?
Yeah.
Your back has a level of this kind of.
You should see my dad.
Right. There we go, a little more. All right. When you're working forward with your head and shoulders and body, the weight goes onto your toes, right? There's too much weight here. Weight belongs on your heel. And when the weight goes on your toes, these joints get jammed in here. And
They do like hip workouts.
uh-huh.
And they do a lot of on your toe. Everything's on your toes.
Uh-huh. The weight's more forward than it should be. I mean, notice the sound of that click was like, get the idea? These are more normal. This was like, there was fluid in there along with the movement. It was reluctant. The acid will then, if you leave acid in there long enough, it causes the bone to grow. This is what causes bone spurs, bunions. The things that happen to people's toes happen because of acidity being negatively charged, attracting calcium from your blood. Opposites attract. So the bone spurring occurs because one, the foot has poor circulation to begin with. Acid gets stuck in there because of stress in life.
Right.
Go ahead and sit up for me. Yeah. You ever seen me do the ear adjustment? Can I check your ear? Is that okay?
Yeah, go for it. I've been curious about this.
Okay. All right. Check
It feels like it's going to be painful, but let's see.
Go ahead and tilt your head to the right a little bit. Tilt your head right. Tilt right. Here we go.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Okay. Not yet. Let me not talk to this.
Here we go. Tilt right. Tilt right. No, wait. It shouldn't be. All right. Go ahead and tilt left. There you go. And go ahead, tilt left, nothing to talk about. In principle, you're going to use this at home, end of the day. We don't want it in your lower neck. It's going to have a tendency to want to roll or slide to your lower neck. We want to keep it in your upper neck. So kind of right off the occiput, what you'll do is you'll take your hand, place it on your forehead, press in, see if your head will stay there, and then put your hand back down. Now, the first dozen times you do it, your head is going to want to come back out. Does that make sense? It doesn't want to comply with the stretch. As you do it more, it actually becomes more difficult the more you do it because you actually start doing it properly.
Okay.
Initially, your neck doesn't really bend that well, and so it doesn't seem that difficult the first half dozen times you do it because your neck is still stiff. You would actually, to me, you could actually do a little bit of left rotation. So while you're on it, your head would be back, and you're actually allowed to do a little bit of left. Remember that knot was bigger on the left side of your neck? So you can put the TV or whatever to the left side, lay on the floor below your TV, kind of idea, and just a little bit. For like 1 month, I would do it back and to the left. If in doubt, just keep the head straight. But it wouldn't be bad, does that make sense, to have a little bit of left rotation, just about 10 degrees left, and do 20 minutes. 20 minutes is a real number for how long it takes to change posture. Anytime you're in any position for 20 minutes, the ligaments are starting to lengthen, and the ligaments that wrap your spine define your posture.
Like up here?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that is a rotator cuff injury. I don't think I did anything to injure my, maybe overexertion from exercise, but...
This is bringing your shoulder back to where it belongs. This position is the corrective position. The shoulder dislocates forward and down, so we take it up and back.
Okay.
That's the correction. The rotator cuff is under stress, and you're right, just moving the tissue is going to make it hurt a little bit. The rotator cuff is stressed by the shoulder being forward and down also, but mainly forward. Strains the rotator cuff. So again, we have to go that way. Does that make sense? Right. That's the correction. The injury is this, and that's what you're noticing when you lay on your side. That you can't lay on your side without the shoulder rolling forward. That gapes the wound. You have a wound in your shoulder that's gaped by laying on that shoulder. Now, if we can heal the wound by closing the wound, then it might not hurt to lay on the side. I don't want you on your side anyway, but I'm just saying it shouldn't hurt to be on your side anyway. So let's try to fix the injury that's in there that's getting stressed and injured more by the work that you're doing in the forward shoulders. We need to stretch the pecs open. All this has to go in. There's definitely some more mobility up here. There you go. Yeah. You've been hiding that from me. That didn't even move earlier.
I didn't think you were going to get it.
I know. No confidence. No confidence in the chiropractor.
No confidence in my neck.
I didn't think you were going to get it. I'm going to show you. A challenge. All right. I got you. Okay. There you go. There we go. Now let's compare it again. So you come on for me when you're ready.
It's like, that was fair one.
Now let's see how it feels. Yeah, just gently show me that again. Yeah. Now retain it. Now you take that dead roll and you keep it. That makes it so it doesn't just go, and it felt great for a couple days and then it's back again, right? You understand? That's
That's what I was gonna say. Like, in a couple of days, this is gonna last me 2 hours, and then I'm gonna be like,
No.
back to the same.
That's what, the answer is you're absolutely correct if we don't stretch. The answer is correct, you are correct.
So stretching is my main thing that I can do too.
If we don't stretch, you're right, the alignment will go right back out, and we live this depressing relationship with your chiropractors, where I'm just a bottle of Advil. That is absolutely true. The problem is you have no curve in your neck, and I can't adjust the curve into your neck. It's not possible. If chiropractors are saying that to you, it's not true. It has to be stretched. It was stretching that made you lose it. It's stretching that restores it. So the adjustment is to make the neck supple like clay so that it can stretch. Middle or upper neck, somewhere in between here. I don't want it down in the lower neck. I want it, and that's the curve. See, the restoration of that is vital. The only way for you to feel permanently better is for that arch to be there.
I figured it out, dude. You're a contortionist, and that's why you're able to do all this stuff. It has nothing to do with stretching. You have double joints somewhere.
Being a chiropractor's kid. My dad's a chiropractor. Can you imagine having that every day of your life?